What's your name?
Ramachandra.
Ramajama.
I'm here. How's it going?
Hi.
Like him, and they want to get rid of for those reasons.
Why are we afraid of war?
I'm actually not sure about.
Hey, how's it going? We're here with
Jay.
Jay, nice to meet you, Jay. Cool. How's it going?
How you doing?
Bring this one too for me for a second.
Oh, absolutely.
Kristen.
Nick.
Nick.
Hello.
And
Joe.
Joe, nice to meet you.
Shane.
Shane, nice to meet you again. Shane actually got a book from us.
Anna.
Anna? Trump is about to go to war, maybe not, maybe yes. Why do you
likely.
think we are afraid of that? Afraid of war?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we going. He's coming with it. He's just
You mind giving me a second? I'm talking. War, earthquakes, floods, devastations. So many things are constantly threatening our existence here. But have we ever stopped and asked ourselves why we are actually afraid of death? Is it just a dogma that we all have to accept? Is it a part of our inherited consciousness? Or can we change it and actually rebel against the mechanism of material nature? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Hare Krishna everybody, today we're in Sacramento. Books Not Bombs continues. Right now you're witnessing the busiest intersection in the whole of Sacramento, 10th and Capitol. That's right, I guess it's not really a Times Square. Population less than let's check it out actually. Hey Siri, what is the population in Sacramento?
As of 2014, the population of Sacramento was 485,199.
Okay, so it's not even 500,000, so that's all right, I guess, for 500,000 people, this amount of pedestrians. Anyways, let's try to get some Books Not Bombs out, and we'll see you all in a bit. Hare Krishna. Woo, 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 woo. Oh my god, bitter melons. Let's get that bitter melon before it gets too bitter. Mahaprasadam key. Oh, that's bitter. I didn't order this bitter melon since I've been in London. Krishna, welcome back into the Living Monk channel. If you're new here on this channel, it's your first video, consider subscribing and hit the bell notification button. Making this short video about spirituality, and today the topic is all these disasters that happens around us, like the earthquakes and like Trump is about to go to war, maybe not, maybe yes. Why do you think we are afraid of that thing, of destruction, of ultimately death, right? What is the source of that?
You said why?
Thing? Yeah, afraid of war?
I mean, yeah, I guess just
Okay.
in terms of the destruction it causes.
They have control over whether or not they're going to die, but everybody is going to.
Well, yeah, of course, war. There will always be bloodshed in war.
Going to die, but everybody is going to die.
Okay.
That's the only.
Yeah,
that's
as
what
sure as
life
death,
is,
right?
Sure as that. Like,
I don't think anyone wants to suffer.
Yeah, but
yeah.
and why are we afraid of death?
Death.
I mean, some people let's say there's
I
nothing
think
after
it's
death.
unpredictable. Like, yeah,
Ah,
you don't know what to expect.
The fact that we don't know what
Yeah.
is after.
We fear the unknown. It doesn't even
Because
have to do
unknown.
with death. Because it's unknown. Simple.
Okay, we fear like the unknown, disturbances due to ignorance type of thing, right?
Yeah, and because death is something that we know less about, we fear it more.
Okay.
Everybody's scared of death because they don't know what happens after.
Okay, they like the ignorance of
Yeah, ignorance.
not knowing after.
There's a lot of unknowns that come with them.
Okay, and
When I sit there and think about how I was, I would go next.
Okay.
If I would go anywhere.
Yeah.
If
I mean, I think we're kind of hardwired to be afraid of it, right? I mean, it's scary, it's different from what we're used to.
just part of life.
I think in our culture there's a very strong push to enjoy your life as much as
Okay.
possible.
Death is not enjoyable, I think you would say.
No, well, no one knows what comes after it for sure.
Okay,
but-
is it not something that we like to
Because I
participate in?
think it's a nature of humanity to recognize people's pity, and like pity is a part of humanity. So of course, seeing people dead or like just people suffering in general, it
Suffering's just bad.
and I think that's part of being humane.
Why
Like,
suffering is bad? Why?
Because we put ourselves in their position
Yeah.
and see if we
Uh-huh.
want to also experience that.
Okay.
And obviously it's like it's part of empathy, which a lot of people I guess don't
Yeah.
really have, but it's also just like understanding others from their
Okay,
perspective.
well, nice. These were some nice talks. Hey, we're gonna catch with the rest of these conversations in a bit, but just before that, I want to appreciate this point that the fear of death is due to ignorance. We don't know what is awaiting for us after death, right? Scientifically, we know about all kind of things that happen during death, rigor mortis, liver mortis, so many other things. But what is the... But what happens after it it pretty much left to so many interpretations. What would you say happens after that? What do you believe in?
For me, it's probably nothing.
Nothing is an answer too. You can say nothing. I think him too. Nothing. Okay.
I don't know. I haven't thought about that one that much.
I think that we become something else. Maybe the trees. You know.
Okay.
Maybe a bug.
But we continue. It's not a we or
reincarnation.
Oh, reincarnation.
Something else. I don't know. I just what something feels like. I feel like that because I feel when I meet babies, when I meet some people,
Yes.
you know, and I stare at them and I listen to them talk, like you yourself. I feel like you've been here before. Like this is not your first time.
Yes.
You know, you don't. Your vibe, your aura, don't feel like
Yes.
you've
We're
been
temporary. Or...
Yes.
Okay.
Like I feel that way. So I don't know. But for some odd reason, I feel that way. Maybe it's just some people are more, their energy is more in tune. I don't know. But
I really don't know. I'm agnostic.
Okay.
I know a lot of people who say they're agnostic don't really believe in much. They just don't want to pick a side. But I really don't know. And I wouldn't be surprised by anything.
Yeah.
Like biologically, we will fade into our consciousness. That's
Yes.
where we all end.
At
And
the
if
same
we
time,
think
it's also
that,
like it's a belief. Isn't
yeah,
it? So it's like
that's
it's very
also a belief.
personal.
And in like how all religions, like the main point of every religion
Yeah.
would be like to teach it to do good things to people.
Yes.
Because that way you won't have any regrets left in this world.
Okay.
And if we fade into our consciousness, like we will think that, oh, we actually made it. And if we think of an ideal of like heaven or something out there,
Awesome. Okay.
then you would be like not regretting anything.
And out. So indeed, disturbance is due to ignorance. And it is a fact, right? Heaven or hell, nothing or something, whatever happens after death, we have no experience of that. At least we don't remember, right? As some say. But one thing is for sure, and I think we can all agree on, is that we're gonna have to leave. We're gonna have to leave our family, our friends, our society, nation, everything we created here, and specifically the body. The more we attach to these things that we acquire through the body, because it only exists in relationship with the body, as soon as we leave the body, we lose a relationship with these things. So it's not that we're actually afraid of leaving the body, but we're afraid of leaving all the things we acquire with the body. Attachments equal fears. The more we attach, the more we're fearing the separation from the body. And it sounds pretty trivial, right? But if you think about it, we take for granted our acceptance of the body as what we are. They're not necessary at all. They're not necessary because that's not who we are. Neither we are our family, neither are we our bank balance, our nation, our color, our gender. At the moment, it's not just we take all these attachments for granted, but in due course of time, we even increase these attachments. More and more and more and more and more and more. But there is a way out. You can find in the Bhagavad Gita, the topmost scripture about yoga and meditation, what increases these attachments and how to decrease these attachments. So the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, by contemplating the objects of the senses, the person develops attachments for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. The more we attach to the objects of the senses, of the sense gratification, it will be more and more difficult for us to separate from the bodily conception of life. How do we become attached to these objects? By meditation. It's not that just the yogis or the spiritualists are meditating. Actually, in fact, everyone is meditating. Someone is meditating on becoming beautiful, becoming rich. Someone is meditating on the nature. Someone's meditating on the traffic jam. So many things our mind is obsessed with or busy with. And especially by the time of death, our separation from the senses and sense objects will be very, very difficult. So this detachment is not an artificial repression of the senses or anything like that. Because after all, what will artificial repression will give you? It will surely end in failure. Because the slightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate us again. It's more about finding the balance. Not too much sense gratification, not too little. Both sides, these two extremes are actually two sides of the same coin. The two sides of this coin is called attachment. Either you attach positively or negatively, is still the same thing that binds you with the body. For example, when we attach to something positively, we want to enjoy it. But when we attach to something negatively, we want to destroy it. And both sides of this coin leave a very, very heavy impression on the consciousness. So instead of choosing this coin of attachment, we'd rather dovetail whatever we are already disposed with whatever the body has, whatever the body requires in spiritual practice and spiritual elevation. So once we found our spiritual activity and we are situated in spiritual practice, we can choose another form of attachment, spiritual attachment. Attachment which will not bind us to another material temporary thing, but which will actually free us from the bodily conception of life. And this is the aim of yoga and meditation. You raise yourself to the spiritual platform and attach yourself to the Supreme. And this is something very important to understand. If you analyze the minute spirit soul, the spirit soul is a minute part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit Soul. Therefore, we cannot be completely independent or completely detached from everything. Because of the minute measurement of the spiritual spark, we always will find ourselves attached to this thing or another. But yet we still have a choice, free choice, what to get attached to. In Sanskrit, this marginal portion of the energy of God is called Tatashta Shakti, or the marginal energy. Neither we are completely spiritual, neither we are completely material, meaning that we can choose between matter and spirit. But as soon as we attach ourselves to spirit, our life becomes free, and we experience what is called liberation or moksha. Maybe some of you know about this term. Therefore, real attachment is attaching ourselves to the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. Interestingly enough, sometimes Krishna actually addresses himself as death. Mirtyu sarva harashaham. It's true from the Bhagavad Gita. You can find that verse that specifies that for people who don't believe in God or don't know what happens after death, God for them, Krishna, comes in the form of death. So yogis, transcendentalists, or just intelligent people in general, they really consider that pays in their life. They understand that life is going to be finished. In other words, they accept death before it comes, right? Just like if you have some sort of an examination or something that you know is going to happen, you're going to prepare yourself, especially if it's something that you know is going to disturb you. So this is the thing that this channel, the Living Monk channel, is trying to give you, trying to bring you, is to meet Krishna in his more nice form, not in the form of death, but in his personal, beautiful form of Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So you can get to know what is death before it comes in the more fearsome form. There's a very nice analogy that our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, uses to describe that a lion, when he grabs the calves and when he grabs the prey, he uses the same teeth, the same mouth, everything is the same. But the effect on the consciousness of the cubs or the deer or whatever he hunts for is completely different, right? The deer he knows that I'm finished, but the cubs, the kittens, right, feel very, very secured and they know they're going to be transformed to a better place. So in a similar way, for the practitioner of Krishna consciousness, for the transcendentalist, for the yogi, when death approaches, it's actually a great peace. He understands that whatever happens to him after, because that's Krishna is the one who takes him from that body, transforms him to another body, is going to take him to a better place, either in the material world or in the spiritual world. Actually, transcendentalists, even if they don't complete the practice, sure that they're going to be transformed to a better body so they can continue their spiritual practice at ease, more at ease. So I hope you like this video, and if you do consider spiritual life, is it worth it? Does it worth my time? Should I pursue it? I hope this video did convince you to take it a step further and understand or more realize or even feel that actually in spiritual life there is no loss or there is no diminution, and even slight endeavor in your spiritual pursuit, spiritual journey will save you from the worst type of fear, either that death or something else. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing. If you yourself have any topics you would like to discuss with me on this channel, don't hesitate, don't be shy. You can put them down in the comments. I go through all the comments and I make sure I reply them to in due course of time. So if you have any topic that specifically relates to you, type it down and let's talk about it. Hare Krishna. And would you say there is a way to understand what happens after we die before we die, or it's always will remain on a theoretical level? Or it's always like a theoretical thing?
I think it's always theoretical. I think uncertainty is a part of the human condition.
Okay.
There is, but you have to be open to both science and religion and know that they work together and not apart.
Oh, Haribol!